You tried, man.
Welcome to Season 2 of Will It Beer. This is where we challenge two brewers to make the best beer they possibly can, given a mystery basket of ingredients.
On top of that, they're going to have access to all of the other ingredients that we have in our own supply store here. So let's start by introducing you to the brewers.
Morning. Hi there, I'm Mark Haney from Bardic Brewing and Cider in Spokane Valley, Washington. I like to focus on the heavier beers, the stronger stuff, but more than that, I like to just have fun.
Hello, I'm Randy Baker. I am the head brewer at Bellwether Brewing. I focus pretty heavily on older styles, gruit ales, braggots. A lot of that comes from Thomas Croskrey, who's the original head brewer and my mentor trainer. So
Let's open up and see what these surprises are. Maple syrup, pretty much a win in the bag, that's nice.
some cold brew coffee,
Hardwood smoked thick cut bacon.
a dozen eggs,
Glazed donuts.
rich and creamy frosting, milk chocolate. So my immediate thoughts, like some of the stuff, I'm not quite sure how I want to get this in there. Like bacon, donuts are probably going to go in mash. Yeah, I'm definitely going to go for something like heavier on the malt side of things. I mean, we want something hearty and all that.
Right out of the gate, this has got to be a breakfast-based beer. I mean, the maple syrup, the bacon, for sure. Cold brew coffee, definitely. I'll figure out something to do with the sweet stuff. Yeah, this needs to be a hearty, malty, just something chewy that wakes you up in the morning. Okay, so I think I'm probably going to go more of the Scottish ale, Scottish breakfast style of things. So I'm going to start with a Scotch ale base, kind of get that biscuity, smoky, almost caramely flavors going in there. I have decided against all scents to go ahead and use the eggs. I'm just going to use the egg whites, make a brown sugar meringue for that. I know it will melt down, but I think that will be basically the flavor I'm after there to get that almost sweet fluffiness, just the flavor of it added in anyway. Any two of these things would work well together, all four of them. Yeah, I mean, what could possibly go wrong? I'm sure it'll be fine.
All right, so I think I'm gonna go more for a sort of a German Hefeweizen-ish thing. I'm just flat out gonna omit the frosting over here. I really just don't want that much fat, that much extra sugar in there. Coffee's going in secondary, probably right along with the bacon. And then these. I'm thinking of possibly doing a miner's breakfast sort of thing, but this is kind of on the fence for me whether I'm gonna actually use it or not. So
So it looks like both brewers are actually taking a pretty aggressive approach when it comes to the use of their ingredients. We got Mark is only omitting the donuts and the frosting, and Randy is only actually omitting the frosting, which is kind of a smart move.
Yeah, I like the fact that they're trying to use the ingredients that are going to be a little bit more challenging, but also add some very distinct flavors in the final beer. They both talked about how they're going to use that bacon and have strategies to render out the fat. And they also are both thinking about toying with the eggs as well.
Oh yeah, I love the concept of making a meringue with the eggs. I think that honestly, as a they're behind us, as a garnish, would be fantastic on a beer.
And the idea of doing maybe a miner's breakfast for Randy, which is just putting an egg in the beer, I think that could be a really fun idea too. Fingers crossed, I don't have to be the first one to drink it.
All right, let's see how they start putting these things together now.
When it comes to the recipes, I like Randy's strategy of using a little bit of smoked malt. That smoked malt should really help kind of balance the flavors and add to the bacon flavor that's already going to be there. So give you a perception of a bigger bacon flavor. And then when it comes to Mark's, he's going with pretty much a classic Scotch style bill, mostly Maris Otter, some mid-range caramel malts, and then a little bit of chocolate malt just to pop that color and give a touch of depth.
Yeah, ultimately these are going to be two very different beers, so I'm excited for them.
All right, I'm gonna go ahead and start mashing this thing in. Yeah, my mash is huge, but it's going really great. Just keep the recirculation going on that thing. Smells, oh man, it smells like biscuits and bread in the morning. But no, it's looking fantastic. I mean, it looks like grain soup.
mine kind of looks like that too, but the smell though coming off of it is like perfectly sweet and smoky, and it's kind of exactly what I was going for. So
It smells like a sugared bacon.
it's on its way to where I want it.
Alrighty, gonna make a brown sugar meringue. I hope this works. Got about half cup of brown sugar. Separate out the yolks from the eggs, because yolks will wreck your meringue faster than anything. Vanilla, you always have to measure very precisely. Like about so. Tartaric acid, just enough to do the thing. And then pretty much whisk till my arm falls off. So once the meringue's done, and I've got all those protein structures whipped up how they need to be, this is going pretty much straight into the boil. It'll melt, again, it'll disappear pretty rapidly, but it should add a really nice flavor, I'm hoping.
So I'm just about to start bouching this. I'm just gonna boil it down, get a little more caramelization on that maple syrup, maybe even bring it up to a smoke point kind of situation and get a little more smoke involved in there.
So when it comes to the maple syrup, Randy is actually cooking that down, doing sort of a boucher style with the syrup, like you would do with honey in a mead. He's hoping to get a little bit more flavor off that maple syrup by getting that cooked down so that not all the sugars ferment out and that syrup goes away. I think that's a great idea. I think he's doing really good with his strategy so far. And then Mark is doing bacon, trying to render out that fat.
Yeah, so Mark is actually he's been adding water to his bacon, he's been steaming it, and he's really trying to get as much of that fat out as possible, which is essential. Even if you are doing a tincture, it really helps out because you really don't want to have any of that in the final beer.
Yeah, so hopefully they both work out. I think they're onto a good strategy. I'm a little bit worried about Mark's bacon still having too much fat in because it is still being cooked in fat. I like Randy's thought about doing a tincture as well to separate that fat in addition to the cooking process, but we'll see how it goes.
I think I've reached a appropriate caramelization on this guy. Getting ready to put it in. Gonna mix it in while I go, and hopefully it stirs in well and doesn't sink to the bottom entirely.
And another thing like we've hit on so many times is, cooking that sugar down creates those Maillard reactions which do nothing but give more complex flavor to the beer.
Adding those caramelizations will help that flavor retain in the final product when most of the sugar would normally just ferment out.
All right, it's time to put the bacon into the beer. So I'm gonna put it in a mesh bag first, a little muslin bag, so that it doesn't just float everywhere and clog the world up. And in the most dramatic moment ever, bacon in the beer. I mean, I don't know what to tell you.
All right, so I'm just going with an ounce of Tradition hops, just kind of keeping it in that German style.
All right, it's time to add both the hops and the meringue. So I figured, let's whisk the hops into the meringue. What could possibly go wrong? Can't think of anything. There we go. A nice lumpy, hoppy meringue. And it's just floating on top, just like we all feared. So here's to hoping for the best. I'm sure it'll melt eventually. All right, got a good boil going. Time to add in the maple syrup. That'll do.
So I kind of decided last minute to try to use these egg whites as a fining agent. I figured why not, and if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But so I got 2 egg whites here, and they're going in with about 10-15 minutes left in the boil.
Just checked the gravity. It's good, it's okay, but it's not quite where I want it. So I'm boosting it a little bit with the brown sugar. I think it'll add a really nice molasses earthy note that will complement the maple syrup that I already put in there. Adding about 3.5 pounds, which is a lot, but I gotta beat Randy by a huge margin. It's not enough that I win, I have to destroy him. So in it goes. So we're just chilling right now. Gonna go ahead and get it into the fermenter, pitch our various yeasts, and then after about secondary or so, we're both going to add the cold brew coffee. Then I'm pretty much done at that point.
While I'm adding in my cold brew coffee, I'm gonna actually have a tincture made up from the bacon to kind of separate out more of that fat and just hopefully leave behind that salt content like I was saying, and they'll have that tincture to go in at the same time. So. High 1030s, perfect.
That yeast was dark darker than his beer. Looks to be about 1080. Well, 1078. That'll do. Should come in 8.5% or so. Let's get rid of the egg. All right, so I decided to use Imperial's tartan yeast. I find it does a really good job with the Scotch ales. Helps emphasize all the different flavors I'm going. Plus the double yeast cell count really does it for me. So here's to hoping. All right, time to pitch the yeast. I'm going to double pitch this one because it's kind of a big batch and should be rolling here pretty quick. Easy peasy. Now we'll see how it turns out, hopefully in a week or so.
So Brew Day was a success, but these brewers still have some stuff to do to get these beers all ready to go. So we're gonna leave it to them to finish these things out.
All right, so I've got my bacon tincture here. We're definitely gonna filter that nasty thing out and hopefully remove a lot of those solids. That'll be going into the transfer into the conditioning keg we've got here. And the cold brew coffee, I will be adding 12 ounces of that as well.
All right, so fermentation's done. Time to crack the thing open, add in the cold brew coffee, and hopefully it's not an awful mess. Oh, 1.008 or so that sucker fermented out dry. So adding a single bottle of the cold brew coffee, and just like that, it's added. Time to keg this thing up. Just like that.
Tim, Mark, and Randy are here.
Fruit Loops! So totally prepared.
Now that we have that beer on tap, we're gonna go ahead and let the brewers taste the beer first and get their notes on it, and then we're going to do the judging afterwards. And so if you wanna go ahead and skip ahead to the judging and see who won, skip ahead to this timestamp right here.
I went with a Scotch ale style, and then from there added in all the various other ingredients, the maple, ton of brown sugar, the bacon, the eggs. Just kind of threw it all in, hoped for the best.
I went for the Greatzer style, so the smoked malt is obviously in there. Lots of wheat. I pick up the wheat, like, pretty dominantly. The wheat and the smoke on the nose.
We are back and ready to taste these final products. These two actually don't know who brewed what, and so this is going to be some honest feedback in terms of which beer tastes better and what direction you think that they chose to go with.
They both smell exactly like I kind of was expecting
Yeah, I
them
mean,
to.
this is a Scotch ale, and this is pretty obviously
Sorry
a
about your head retention.
But yeah, that kind of, the more you know.
That's really good, though.
I mean, it is really good. It's just nothing I ever expected from that.
There is a lot of sweetness, too, that is coming from the alcohol content. Like, it's a good, like, clean alcohol content, and it just, like, fuses in with all those sugars that are left behind.
I mean, I like it. I'm proud of it.
My attempt at using the egg whites as a finding agent?
That didn't work at all.
No. It clogged everything.
Yeah. Oh, try putting a meringue in yours next time, see what happens. Oh, that is nice. The smoke hangs on, but it's a really clean finish. Yeah, nothing's particularly overpowering. It's all just kind of nicely balanced together. I get kind of like the bacon packaging.
I was expecting the coffee to shine through a lot more with how light it is, and there's
not a whole lot there.
Nothing. The maple syrup, too, for me, it's just gone.
What did it finish out at?
With the tincture added, I mean, it mattered in this case, 4.1%.
4.1.
You start at breakfast with this, and I'll finish with breakfast for dinner with yours.
Yeah, at 9.5, that one will put you down pretty good.
Nobody told me. Attempt number 2 at adding the eggs. I don't know what I'm thinking, but we're gonna try this. I guess I have to chug it to get to the bottom of that.
Should we make this a challenge for everybody that's tasting?
Cheers.
The egg goes down so fast you don't even know it. That really changed the body, though. I figured with the egg sitting at the bottom, that it like thickened it up a little bit. It's lingering more than it was, so.
Oh my gosh, what am I doing? I mean, it was an egg in beer.
There's nothing really to talk about.
It lingers and coats very nicely, but I don't know as I would make that a regular habit.
Which one is breakfast more to you?
See, I'm biased. I really like that savory breakfast.
Feel free to be biased, and feel free to say you're biased.
I said it.
As much as I want to cheer for my own baby, I gotta agree with you. I think yours is more breakfast style.
Yeah, having the savory breakfast, that's like my go-to.
With your own biases in place, which is your favorite overall beer?
I honestly have to say that's a tie. There's a time and place for both of them, and I would throw back a couple of either of them in the right time and place. So
depending on the day, time of day, I would just as readily reach for either one.
Mark, really quick, just say, I think Randy's beer is complete shit and mine's the dominant winner.
Randy's beer is complete shit, and mine's the dominant winner.
Which one screams the ingredients and which one screams breakfast most to you? Let's go you first.
It's so hard. Really, it's like maple and no bacon, bacon and no maple. I think the Scottish yeast is just kind of a personal preference of a beer that is not my all-time favorite. So I think just the bacon, and I love bacon. I love freaking bacon. So this one for me would scream more for the breakfast.
This one's really hard for me too, and I think they kind of push it in two different ways. I agree that the sweetness of this one definitely pushes forward maple. They're so different. So in terms of just which one screams the ingredients the most, I'd probably say this one because it most reminds me of at least one of the ingredients, if not two.
This is a very hard decision. I kind of based it on which I would have with breakfast and be more enjoyable. If I would sit down and have a breakfast with a beer, be like, this fits it perfectly, I think it's got to be this one, but it's because it has that breakfasty sweetness.
All right, now for the second part of the judging, ingredients aside, which beer would you prefer to drink overall? Which beer is your favorite? Ingredients don't matter at all.
This with maybe some waffles could be really freaking good. But I just like bacon so much and the smoke in this. I have to go. I would drink more of that.
I'm kind of on the same page. I think it's a really close call. In general, my palate just doesn't lean on the sweet side. Like I don't like a lot of sweet things as much as I like dry things, and I like the smokiness and the bacon of this one just a little bit better than I like the all the aromatics that's coming off of the yeast profile of this one. So just in terms of style, I think I like the style better, and so the one that I would drink more is probably this one.
If it could be just a touch brighter with that dryness and the sweetness, I think this could be really good, but I would want smaller pours. And again, I mean, I think you could just super crush this beer. It's really interesting. It's flavorful, but the smoke doesn't hang on, so you're not chewing on a.
Yeah.
Very, very close in this. I mean, like.
They're both really good beers.
Let's eat that one forward.
Thanks for watching, everybody. The Will It Beer series is a very special project to us here at Genus Brewing because it takes our love of home brewing and brings it into a world that kind of opens up possibilities for everybody involved. It also brings in the local brewing community in a way that I think is fun and exciting for everybody involved. And so if you like this, please subscribe to the channel and give this video a like. If you have ideas what you'd like to see on future Will It Beers or future episodes from Genus Brewing, please leave a comment below. And as always, you can support us by checking out our website where we have merchandise available as well as home brewing kits. Cheers, follow us on Instagram, all that stuff. You know what to do. And we're just gonna high five and call it a day. So thanks for being you. I have a sword, by the way. All right, since Randy did say that the only way to do his beer is with an egg as a miner's breakfast, Damon and I are now both going to very, very willingly.
It's the Angmar special.
Where's the willingness in this?
Miner's breakfast this. Do you want me to do your egg for you?
No.
Chug the whole thing as fast as you can.
First beer made of large
You tried, man.
I honestly don't think I noticed it. I don't think I noticed it at all.
How did you not?
You didn't even get the yolk.
Oh, I got half of it. Half is gone. Half is gone. Half. It literally touched my teeth.
Your mouth.
Try number 2.
Fuck off. Can we stop recording?
We'll see you next time for another WIB.